So you found one of those must-know vocabulary lists on the internet. You wrote all the words down, maybe even translated them into your native language, and tried really hard to memorize them. But for some reason, you just couldn't. They just wouldn't stick. So what are you supposed to do? How the hell do you actually learn new words so you remember them? Well, I think I've got a few useful tips for you, so watch till the end. Don't memorize random word lists. One of the biggest mistakes is trying to learn random complicated words you found on a website that you'll probably never even use. Like, if you really want to improve your vocabulary and don't know where to start, just search on Google or YouTube for a vocab based on your interests. For example, if you're into cars, then search for car vocabulary and you'll learn stuff like pedal, rear view mirror, trunk. If you like working out, look for words and phrases related to the gym or fitness, and you'll learn things like hit the gym, muscle-mind connection, what else? Sets, reps, give me a spot. This way it's actually much easier to remember stuff because 1. You're actually going to use it when you speak, and 2. You're genuinely interested in what you're learning. You'll be learning the language that fits your life, not words that will just collect dust in your notebook. And about keeping lists. There's nothing wrong with writing down some useful new words or phrases you want to learn, but don't add there every random word you hear or see. I used to do that, and at some point I had this giant list with hundreds of words. Most of them were really complicated stuff I would never use, and it just made me feel overwhelmed. And of course, I never learned all of them. So keep your list small. Don't learn too many words at once. I know you're impatient, you want to learn fast. But trying to memorize 50 or 100 words a day is a waste of time. Unless you've got an incredible memory, you'll forget 99% of them. They just won't stick. I say this from experience. I used to take 20 or 30 words, translate them, look up the meaning, and I felt like, okay, now I know them. But then, after a couple of days, they just disappeared from my memory. So keep it simple. Learn 2-3 useful words at a time. Focus on them, use them, review them regularly, and only then move on. It feels slow, yeah, but it actually works. Even when you're watching or reading something, don't stop every 5 seconds to look up every single word you don't know. You'll burn yourself out, and most of them will never make it into your memory anyway. So focus only on the stuff that you hear and see very often. Always learn words in context. Words are not meant to live alone. Without context, you won't really understand how to use them correctly. For example, take the word take. In different situations, it has completely different meanings. Take a photo means capture a picture. Take a shower means have a shower. Take your time is a phrase that means don't rush. Take off can mean to remove clothes, as in take off your jacket, or it can refer to a plane leaving the ground. The plane took off successfully. You see how many different uses a word can have in English. That's why it's so important. And even if a word has just one meaning, it's still very hard to memorize it without seeing it in real context and real sentences. So when you ask ChatGPT to tell you what a certain word or expression means, also ask for a few examples of how it is used in different contexts. Don't rely only on translation. Look, there's nothing wrong with translating something you don't understand. But if you rely only on that, you might miss the real meaning. Many words, especially phrases, just don't translate word for word. That's why it's better to check the English definition, read a few example sentences, and see how people actually use the phrase. Personally, I never translate anymore. I just read the definition, read a couple examples. This way I make sure I understand the phrase or the word correctly. Pay attention to pronunciation. A lot of times when you come across a new word, you look it up, understand its meaning, but just guess how it's pronounced. And then you can go months, even years, saying it wrong. I made this mistake too. Whenever I found a new word, especially while reading, I would just pronounce it the way I thought was right. And because of that, I used to say many words incorrectly. For example, I'd say success instead of success, development instead of development, license instead of license. Even recently I found out I'd been saying this one wrong. I've been saying it as malevolent when it's malevolent. So whenever you learn a new word, listen to its correct pronunciation right away. That way you don't have to unlearn the wrong version later. Actively use the words. This might be the most important tip. If you don't use all the stuff you're trying to learn, your brain just gets rid of it. So take those new words you want to memorize and play with them. Pay close attention when you hear them in movies, songs, or conversations. When you're lying in bed or walking to work, try building sentences in your head with them. An even better way is through writing. Let's say you have 5 words. Grab a notebook and write a short text about anything, your plans, your day, whatever. And challenge yourself to use all those words multiple times. The more often you use new vocabulary, the easier it is for your brain to remember it. That's it. That's everything I know about learning new vocabulary. Now, get out of here. And thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it.